Black is dominant and white is recessive, which means what? It means you produced white people. If you had begun with white people, if Adam and Eve had been a white person, you would not be here.
Melanin pigment, right?
Right.
Is so unbelievable, George. They use it in computer chips now because it has an ability to transduce electrical energy. Can you imagine this? It has this incredible ability to hold on to and transduce and manipulate electrons, electronic energy, and photons, photonic energy. It's a fascinating molecule.
You can't tell me our melanin isn't magic, that our tones aren't rich. Being black is my honor. I wear this skin with pride. No matter our heartbreak, our losses, our fights, we show them who we are, lest we ever forget ourselves. We are forever uniquely and wonderfully made. The Nile River runs through our veins, so we are never thirsty. Gold is a chromosome in our DNA. We are forever rich. The sun shines through us. We are forever light.
I would like to say to this gentleman and all other people who are not blessed with melanin at this point in time to understand that what has happened in our history is that you have been misinformed as much as we have been misinformed. Much of the information that is brought forth not only from Dr. Muhammad but other areas, other scholars are not available to you, as the sister said, in your curriculums that you have for 400 years when you did not allow us to read and write and was being hidden. Whether you, sir, personally did that or not, it was a legacy that was passed on to you. And I end by saying the Holocaust is simply the greatest atrocity on film. Ours was not filmed.
After doing a lot of research and reading a lot of books, I've come to realize one thing. Black people, we are too powerful. We are so much powerful. But I think we don't realize our power. Okay? We got superpowers. One, we are the origin of human being. Number two, our melanin carries a lot. Number three, we are the origin of civilization. At least each and everything started from black people. When I talk about black people in this context, I talk about Africans. I talk about black Americans. I talk about Afro-Caribbeans. I talk about black people from Brazil, from UK. You know, in this video today, I'm saying this. Don't give up. I see some of African youths are giving up or running away from their country, going to these Europe countries so that they can make it. I see a lot of black people or Africans, they are belittling themselves. They think whiteness is the key to success. But I'm saying this with everything in me. Don't give up, okay? Because the truth is, you are the first, you are the chosen, and you are the one carrying a light so powerful that the whole world has tried to dim it. I know a lot of you who are watching this video, you know about this, but I'm talking to the people who don't know, and I'm talking to the people who need to be reminded that you are great as a black person, okay? I need you to watch this video to the end, because once you hear the words I'm about to speak, once you really feel them in your soul, you will never look at yourself the same again. Because they lied to us for centuries, they buried the truth, they twisted our history. But the moment we realize who we are, everything changes. There's a video I want to show you. This video, maybe you have come across it, but it is supporting my talk, okay? It's supporting my commentary. So, black people, you are no victims. You are not what they told you in their books, in their movies, their false history. You are kings, queens, inventors, prophets, and divine beings. I'm here to remind you of that, okay? So before I go deep down into my commentary, because I have a lot to say, I want you to watch this professor here talking about a lot of things, melanin, origin of human being, and then we'll come back here and talk more.
And you are also the people of the scriptures. All scripture, be it the Rig Veda, the Nama Pali, the Peramperu, the Papyrus of Ani, the Papyrus of Hunefa, the Quran, the Bible, the Book of Zoroaster, the Epic of Gilgamesh is all about black people. Black people. But I know you have not heard about this information. Why? Because when white people colonize the world, they also colonize the information about the world. Today, I will try to excite your mind and maybe show you that even a common man, once he realizes his importance, can become an important man or an important woman. But for a start, I want to excite you in this word called melanin. Melanin. Who knows this word? Who of you knows melanin? M-E-L-L-A-N-I-N. Melanin. Anybody? You haven't? Yes, she knows because, because she works for the Virus Institute. And you know because you're a teacher. But what about you? Haven't started learning, particularly if you're a black person, unless you know what melanin is. Melanin is a carbon that does not deteriorate over time. Melanin is your black skin pigmentation. Or some in plants, it is equivalent to chlorophyll. But it is the most powerful thing that you can have. In terms of people, we gauge your importance on the amount of melanin you have. We say the darker the better. The darker the better. Melanin is produced by an enzyme called melatonin. Melatonin. You need melatonin to make melanin. But for melatonin to make melanin, it needs a catalyst enzyme that we call tyrosine 7. So you have tyrosine 7 to work with melatonin to produce melanin. If you have internet and you look for melatonin, you will find there are over 100,000 products made out of melatonin, basically made out of black skin. So melatonin, melanin, and tyrosine 7. If you have no tyrosine 7, you can't have black skin. You can't. And in biology, if you have no black skin, they will say you are depigmented, demelanized, or you are an albino. You understand that? You have lights in the car, just in case. If you have no black skin, you are an albino. In biology, white people are called albinos. And the word white comes from the Latin word albinus, which means white. In biology, you have somebody who is depigmented, which means he has no pigment. Demelanized, who has no melanin. And if you are depigmented or no melanin, it means you are an albino. If you have melanin, it means you are a black person. That's in biology. Now, this melanin is responsible for a lot of things, and I want you to write them down. I hope you have where to write, students. Do you have where to write? No. Who said no? How can you be a student and not know where to write? You came for what? For dinner? Hey, Sebo, this is not a wedding. You came for a lecture, and an important one. Number one, it protects you against the ultraviolet rays of the sun and the energy from the earth. When the sun hits your body, certain rays are allowed in, certain rays are filtered out. It stops you getting skin cancer. Then it protects you against the energy from the earth, which means if you are standing, it anchors you. In electricity, you have earthing. When something is earthed, it's not hit by lightning. You know that. So if you are standing here with a white person and lightning struck, it would pick a white person, throw him there, you would remain standing tall, blessed of the sun, because of your melanin. Number one, protects you against the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Number two, protects you against the energy from the earth. It anchors you. Number three, melanin is responsible for healing. When you cut yourself, if you cut yourself, you see blood, you see something red, there may be white. And when it starts healing, a dark skin comes and covers it, or a dark patch comes and covers it. That dark patch is melanin. Melanin sends reinforcement around the area that is affected and brings about healing. Melanin is also responsible for healing. Melanin is responsible for a sleeping cycle, how you sleep. If you don't have melanin, you don't sleep properly. You have what they call insomnia. Melanin controls fatigue. So you are not tired most of the time. Other people who don't have melanin, they have fatigue. If they travel in a plane, they get what they call jet lag. Then melanin is also responsible for something else, what we call a corresponding cosmic connection. It links you to the universe. You begin feeling something. You feel energy pulses. There is a lot of energy that is here that you don't see. Energy you don't see, but you can harness it. For example, if somebody calls you on phone, you don't see the sound traveling in the air, but it comes to your phone. So there is a ultraviolet, ultra high frequency signal that comes to your telephone. Are you with me? For example, one way you can test a corresponding cosmic connection is when a black person hears a music pulse. If I say na 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 na, oh Africa, Africa, na 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 na, oh Africa, straight away you feel the rhythm. Even before you hear it pulsate through your veins. If it was a white person, they wouldn't feel the rhythm. And if they started dancing, they would be jumping up like this, and then they would do this, and they would not move in tandem with the rhythm because they don't have melanin. They do not have that corresponding cosmic connection. The corresponding cosmic connection also means that you could be seated here, and something happens to you, and your mother at home will see a leaf fall from a tree, and you say, there's something wrong with my son. Or you could be going somewhere, and you see a rat cross the road, you say, this is not a good thing. So that nature works with you, not against you, to warn you, you are at harmony with nature. That's another thing that melanin does. Protects you against the ultraviolet rays of the sun, the energy from the earth. Melanin controls hearing, melanin controls fatigue, melanin gives you a corresponding cosmic connection. But melanin also does something else. Melanin gives you dominant genes. Now, the science of genetics. You know genetics, genes. That science started around 1822 with a gentleman called Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel was an Austrian from Austria, and he was a Catholic priest from the Augustine monks. He was an Augustine monk. Augustine lived around the 2nd, 3rd, 4th century AD, and he was the black person who lived in North Africa in a place called Hippo Regius, who wrote the laws of the Catholic Church. Because most of you think that white people brought religion and they taught you how to read and write. That's all not true. That's what we call his story, the white man's side of the story. It's not our story. It's not true. I'm just telling you that Augustine of Hippo was this bishop who wrote the laws of the Catholic Church. Now, the followers of Augustine are called Augustinian monks. And one of the Augustinian monks was Gregory Mendel, who lived in Austria around 1822. And in Austria, he was looking at genes, because at that time, white people were wondering where humanity started. Who were the first people to populate the world? And they thought that white people were the first people to populate the world. And at the time, Christianity was very heavy in Europe. It's not the same now. If you go in a church in England, you will probably find about 2 or 3 people, the priest and his assistant and maybe one other person, unless it's Christmas. They were first looking in Europe. Then they couldn't find, the oldest they could go was 40,000 years. Then they went to Asia, the oldest they could go was 900,000 years. And then they came to Africa. And the oldest they could go in Africa was about 1.5 million years. So Mendel wanted to find out, using genes, inherited characteristics. Because you know, when a man meets a woman, in Africa we say you have a spiritual congress. European people say you have sex. In Africa we don't have sex. We don't even have a word for it. We call it a spiritual congress. But when a man meets a woman, they exchange first genes. And the first genes they exchange is called nuclear DNA. And you share, almost equal sequence that sit on your chromosome. So you have a certain equal percentage from the male and the female. But there is a certain gene that the mother passes on to the child without going through the filtration process. That is called mitochondria DNA. Mitochondria DNA. Sometimes it's written like this. Mitochondria DNA. That one the mother passes to the child without going through filtration process. The father doesn't contribute to that DNA. So if we want to find out who is your father, we will just look at your mitochondria DNA. But the inherited characteristics pass through from the nuclear DNA. So Mendel was looking at these characteristics, and he was looking at plants to see what does a father plant give to a child plant? What does a mother plant give to a child plant? And then he went to animals. And Mendel concluded that if you began with white people, you would you'd never have got black people. Because white people have what they call recessive genes. Do you study that? You study recessive genes? You also study dominant genes. You study that? Now, if you study recessive genes and dominant genes, you know that a recessive can never produce a what? Recessive can never produce a dominant. But a dominant can do what? Very good, very good. Some of your fees, went for a good cause. If you know recessive genes, you can never stay away from that. Recessive genes. No two white cats can produce a black cat. No two white goats can produce a black goat. No two white cows can produce a black cow. No two white chickens can produce a white chicken. And no two albinos, no two white people can produce a black person. Why? Because black is dominant and white is recessive. Which means what? It means you produced white people. If you had begun with white people, if Adam and Eve had been a white person, you would not be here.
Welcome back. I hope you have subscribed on this YouTube space. I like this video, share to the people, and for those who are sending super thanks, I appreciate, and you are deep inside my heart. Now, let me start with this one thing. You have heard the videos or the clip. You have heard the professor. He's African and he has a lot to say. I've seen some comments on that video and people are happy listening to him. And I was happy listening to him and I say, let me share my thinking with you. First of all, we are at the beginning. We are the first people. Science itself admits what our ancestors already knew. The first human beings on earth were black, okay? Africa is the birthplace of humanity. We all know that. No one is disputing that, okay? Every nation, every tribe, every color comes from us black people, okay? Without black people, there's no world. Without black people or without Africa, there's no history. Without melanin, there is no human story. So when they try to tell you that you are nobody, when they try to tell you that you are less than, remember one thing, you are the blueprint. Yes, you are the blueprint. You are the origin and you are the first. From the video, Professor have talked about the people from the Bible. We have been told lies about the people from the Bible, But I'll say this, the people of the Bible, or the people they read about every Sunday in churches across the world, those people are black people. Name them: Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, Mary, Jesus, or Yeshua. They were black. And this is not just fantasy. It is the truth backed by history, backed by geography, backed by scripture itself. So how can a people living under the hot sun of Africa and the Middle East look like European? How? So it doesn't add up. The Bible itself described the people with skin like bronze, hair like wool. And that is us black people. That's our people. And that was our story. But they stripped it from us, painted it white, and handed us the false images that we see on the movies. Why? Because they knew if we recognize that we are the chosen people, are ourselves the people in the holy story, if we saw our reflection in the chosen people, in the Bible, then their system of oppression will never stand. It will crumble. And that's why they hid that from us. That's number two. I've talked about the first people. We are black. I've talked about now the people of the Bible who are black. I just want to tell you how powerful we are as black people. Kindly keep watching, okay? Now, I will go to my favorite part, the power of melanin we carry. That's so deep. I took my time and read about this, the melanin. I listened to professors, researchers, and I nodded my head like, okay, we carry something powerful, and that's why some people too are buying melanin, okay? Inside you, as a black person, I'm not saying white people are like this, no. But truth is, inside you, black people, is a superpower that they don't want you to know about. And that is melanin. When we were in school, they never taught us deep things about this. They never taught us about that the beautiful darkness in your skin, in your health, in your eyes. It's not just color. It is not just pigmentation. It's a divine technology. They never taught us this in the school. In the textbooks that we learned, this was not there. Melanin is the key to absorbing energy. Melanin is the key to connecting with the universe. Melanin is the key to connecting light into power. It's the reason why our rhythm is unmatched. It's the reason why our creativity flows like a river. It's the reason why our spiritual connection is deeper than the words any words can explain. So they fear our melanin. And that's why they tried to make us hate it. They try to make us hate blackness. Even some of my friends are bleaching. Yeah? Because what? They hate blackness. When I was in school back then, being black, like, okay, my skin is not that black. It's a little brownish. In our language, we say maji ya kunde. Okay? So when back in school, when someone is dark skinned, he or she will go through a lot. Like the students will mock him or her, like, you are dark like charcoal, you are like this. They taught us to believe being dark, it's bad. So we have just, until now, if you haven't realized until now, that's why you're getting some people with the peer pressure, bleaching and doing some stuff to lighten their skin, because the environment around them, the society has made them believe being brown skin, that's where you'll get a job. Being brown skin, that's where you'll get attention. Okay? So they fear our melanin. And they are making each and every time us to hate it. They have created industries, bleaching industries, to hide it, to destroy the melanin. But let me tell you right now, melanin is sacred. It is divine. It is power. And the moment you understand that, you unlock a part of yourself no system can control. And this is the system's biggest fear. The system doesn't fear black people because of guns or protest or numbers. The system fears black people waking up. They fear you realizing who you are. They fear you realizing that we are, or you are, the chosen one. They fear us, black people, uniting. And that's why we'll have a lot of commotion between black people. Africans and black Americans, most of them are being geared. They fear us stepping into our worth. Because when we do that, the entire illusion of white supremacy collapses. Think about this. Why do they work so hard to keep us distracted? Why do they push drugs, violence, and lies into our communities? Why do they rewrite history books and censor our voices? Because one thing, the moment we say we are the first, we are divine, we are great chosen, the world will never be the same again. You get me? And that's why I'm telling you this. Don't give up. I know life has been heavy to some of us. Black Americans have gone through a lot, through oppression, slavery, everywhere. Afro-Caribbean have gone through hell. Africans have gone through hell. Afro-Latinos have gone, even black Indians have gone through hell. But let me tell you one thing. As a black person, I know the system is designed to break us. I know the system is designed to break us, to make us believe we are powerless. But you are not powerless. You are powerful beyond measure. Our ancestors survived slavery, survived colonization, survived Jim Crow, survived police brutality, apartheid, survived even trap this world set for black people, for us. Okay? And if they could endure that and still sing, still dance, create, and still love, then you right now can keep going. I know we have been through a lot as black people, but we will keep going, because you are the dream of the ancestors. You are their answered prayers. They didn't give up. And neither about you. They didn't give up. Neither should you give up. Okay? Now, black people, I want you to listen carefully. If you're watching this video and you're black, this video is for you. We are living in a time that our ancestors dreamed about, because for centuries, they whispered to us in spirit, hold on, hold on, hold on. One day the truth will come back. One day lies will fall, and that day is now, okay? We cannot allow ourselves to give up, not when we are this close to unlocking our full power, not when the system is trembling, not when the world is finally beginning to see cracks in the empire built on backs of black people, okay? Empires are falling because of us, black people. I'll tell you, look at history. Just look at history. Every empire that tried to enslave or control black people fell. Egypt was corrupted and fell. Rome enslaved us, fell. Europe colonized Africa, and now It is collapsing under its own lies. America was built on the the back of slaves. What's happening right now is drowning itself in those own greed and corruption. So every time someone rise by stepping on us, eventually they will not survive for too long because they forgot one eternal truth. You cannot destroy the chosen people and you cannot erase God's plan. You cannot suppress melanin, rhythm, creativity, and spirit. And that's just the truth. So every time they rise through our back, through lies, you go down. And we had prophecies that were there about us. Even prophecies speak about us. When the Bible says that the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, let me tell you for free, that is us black people, okay? We were the first people, and then we were pushed to the bottom. And that means the last shall be last, and the first shall be last. That's us black people. When the Bible says a people scattered to the ends of the earth will gather again, that's us. Remember this transatlantic slave trade scattered us. It scattered black people. Families were broken. Some were taken to Caribbean, some were taken to America, some remained in Africa. We were scattered, but now there is a spiritual call for all of us to return together to Africa, to reconnect with our roots, to rebuild what was broken. So this, what we are seeing, is bigger than politics, bigger than economics. This is spiritual. Wow. This is spiritual. Africa is not just a continent. Africa is the heartbeat of the world. Every rhythm, every sound, vibration of life comes from Africa. Believe me. I've learned. I've do a lot of research. Recent days when I was away, I've learned a lot of books, and I've listened to a lot of professors, researchers, even white professors, and all of them are connecting to one thing: spiritual awakening. It's happening right now. Okay, you see, no matter anywhere you go, in Jamaica, Haiti, Brazil, America, name this country, Europe, black people carry Africa in their soul. So, and that is to say, we are one people. Even though the system tried to divide us, they call us African America, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Latino, Africans, but the truth remains that we are one family. When we remember the unity, nothing can stop us. Another thing, the system fear the unity. I always say that. They fear our unity, and that's why the system fights so hard to keep us divided. They want Africans to look down on African Americans. They want Caribbeans to feel separated. They want us to argue out accents about who is more black. Who is more black? Is that even a fight we need to fight about? Who has the best accent? About who has the best culture? About background? Small argument that keep us divided. That's what they want. Okay? Let me ask you one question. When the enemy sees you, do they care if you are Nigerian, Jamaican? Do they care if you are Kenyan or African American? No, they don't care. They see you as one thing. They see you as a black person that should tell you need to know. Okay? The enemy does not see you as Ghanaian, South African, Rwandese. They even don't care about that. The enemy sees you as black person. If you are coming from Ghana, if you are coming from Kenya, if you are coming from Uganda, if you are coming from this country, Seychelles, the enemy sees you as African. You are coming from Africa, eh? Oh no, I'm coming from Ghana. They sees you from Africa. So let us not create division. Unity is greater here because the day we unite, Africa rising with the diaspora reconnecting with the motherland, oh my God, the system ends. Period. Another thing, melanin has something I call spiritual technology. I don't know if I talked about that earlier, because I need you to understand just how divine this gift is. Okay? If you haven't understand, I need you to understand this. Melanin is not just skin. Okay? It is in your brain. It is your nervous system. It is your DNA. It enhances your ability to absorb light, to process sound, to connect spiritual. And that's why we are natural dancers, natural singers, natural creators. That's why when we speak, the world listens. Okay? That's why when we touch music, it becomes universal. When we express ourselves, the culture shifted. So our creativity is not accidental. It is divine technology, and the system knows it, and that's why they steal from us. That's why they copy our music, our style, our fashion, our slang, our rhythm, because they know we are trapped into something eternal. So we need to recognize our worth. And here is the truth. The moment we realize our worth, the game is over. Right now, many of us are walking around thinking that we are powerless, just walking. Black people, we don't have energy. Black people, our skin is bad. Black people, we come from poor background. You never did that. Don't do that, my friend, okay? Don't walk around thinking we are struggling, thinking we are victims. No. Just imagine if every black person woke up tomorrow and said, I'm chosen, I'm divine, I'm powerful, I'm unstoppable. Do you know what will happen? For example, there's a question asked. Black Americans wake up and decide we are going to motherland, all of us. What will America be without black people? It's just the same thing. When black people realize who we are, the entire system collapses overnight, because the system only works when we believe their lies. The system only works when we forget who we are. The system only works when we stay asleep, okay? So, to my young brothers and sisters who are rising up right now, don't give up. I know the world is trying to do or to drag us down, to drag you down, to make you believe that you cannot make it here unless you go there, that you cannot do something here unless you do this, that you cannot enjoy your fashion unless you do their fashion. Let me tell you, I know you feel that pressure from school, society, social media, from poverty, racism, from all sides, but don't give up. You are not just young people. You are warriors, and you carriers of the light. You are the continuation of bloodline that survived everything. And the fact that you are still here means that you are destined for greatness. 24. So I'll say this. This video, if you have watched up to here, needs to trigger something in your mind. I'm requesting you to share this video mostly to the younger generation, because they need to hear this. I know how we carry ourselves, for example, from Africa, And my brothers and sisters in America, in Caribbean, in the South America, in Europe, don't give up. We know all this. The system has tried a lot to make you feel like you are strangers, to make you feel like you don't belong in everywhere, or anywhere. Because when you come to Africa, they oppress your movement to Africa. But you belong here in Africa. You belong to the beginning. You belong to the divine story of the chosen people. Your blood, your rhythm, and your spirit all points back to the motherland. And no matter how much they try to erase that, it can't be erased. This is divine. I hope this gets in your mind. Until next episode, peace out.